Good morning. Welcome to Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening Sunday morning service. Whoever you are and wherever you're from, we're so glad you're here with us this morning, and we're just going to jump into the energy of gratitude. Maybe even share with us what you're grateful for this morning, and sing along if you choose. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, wonderful friends. My wonderful, wonderful friends. Let's claim some radiant health this morning. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant health. My radiant health. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing day. This healing, healing day. This healing, healing day. This healing, healing day. Thank you. Thank you. One of the most powerful prayers we can pray right there. Thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you all for being here. Thank you in advance for your open hearts and open minds that I know that you have this morning, because I believe that we are drawn together by like minds. And this is a group of open hearts and open minds, open arms and open doors. So let's just take a moment to breathe into that openness, breathe into the opening of love itself, knowing that love is surrounding us at all times. Love, sweet love surrounds me now. Love, sweet love comes through. Love, sweet love surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. Love, sweet love surrounds me now. Love, sweet love comes through. Love, sweet love surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. Acknowledging that love is real, it is palpable, and it is present right here, right now. Surrounding me and moving through me in all that I say and do, to the degree that I allow myself to be an open channel, an open vessel for love itself. And so I say yes to that right now. I'm so grateful. So grateful for the opportunity to remind myself of the truth that there is one power, and it is love. One power, it is intelligence. One power, it is omniscient and omnipresent. I'm so grateful. In this moment, I've reminded myself of this truth. I know that I am connected to each and every person, each and every life, connected to this universal intelligence. And so as I speak my word this morning, I speak a word of blessing, knowing that we are blessed in this gathering, that we have been brought together by divine appointment. There are no accidents. And that we're each here to be a blessing and to be blessed. And so I just say thank you in advance, knowing that is so. And I choose to sing the song of God this morning. That song of love and peace and joy and harmony. All things that lift my vibration. I say yes to that. I breathe into my heart, allowing my heart to lead the way in all that I do and say. And so I just release the details of this service in advance, saying thank you. Thank you. Trusting and knowing that love is the only truth, and that it leads and guides and guards and governs my path. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love, sweet love, comes through. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love, sweet love, comes through. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. Love is the only truth. Love is the only truth.
The first sentence in the book, The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes is, "We all look forward to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible into the invisible." And by religion, he didn't mean organized religion, rather spiritual awakening. Science and religion have something fundamental in common. Science is an ever-increasing understanding of how universal principles express through the reality that we see all around us. Religion, as spiritual awakening, is our ever-increasing understanding and experience of our connection with the universal principle of life, intelligence, and creativity itself that we may choose to call spirit or God. They are two different ways of looking at principle. And one thing that was known back then in science is in quantum mechanics that the smallest subatomic particles reacted differently if they were being observed. In other words, they responded to thought, which really got the attention of people in New Thought, because we have this expression, thoughts are things, which is short for the thoughts of our ever-changing belief system can change the things in our overall experience. It takes a bit more than just observing when you're dealing with the whole experience. And it has come to my attention that this hand-holding between science and religion is getting a little bit more intimate. And that's because the ideas of the renowned physicist John Archibald Wheeler are becoming more accepted. That is, John Wheeler is known best perhaps for coming up with the term black hole to describe a collapsed star. And also, what's being more widely accepted these days is his idea that he calls it from bit. That is, it being the fundamental unit or substance of reality itself, and bit being the smallest measurement of information. That is, if you're streaming so many megabits per second, same bit. And here's a quote from it. It from bit is the idea that every particle, every field of force, even the space-time continuum itself derives its function, its meaning, its very existence entirely from binary choices, information, bits. Reality is made out of information. In other words, it's not that a subatomic particle responds to thought, it is thought. Thought responding to thought. We're there. We live in a spiritual reality that consists of one infinite energy that is all life, intelligence, creativity, expressing through belief into form, according to our ever-awakening belief. And I'd like to add to that statement from Ernest Holmes. We all look forward to the day when science, religion, art, commerce, all aspects of human activity hold hands, embrace, and sing the song of God as one. And so it is.
Hello. Today I wanted to read something that's helped me on my journey in hopes that it can help some of you. This book is called The Gifts of Imperfection. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. And it's by Brene Brown. Everything that she touches is magic, and her research is wonderful. So if you haven't heard of her, check her out. But this chapter is called Cultivating Authenticity, letting go of what people think. And the first part of it is a quote by Margaret Young, and it says, "Often people attempt to live their lives backwards. They try to have more things or more money in order to do more of what they want so that they will be happier. The way it actually works is in the reverse. You must first be who you really are, then do what you really need to do in order to have what you want." And Brene starts the chapter out by saying, "Before I started doing my research, I always thought of people of either being authentic or inauthentic. Authenticity was simply a quality that you had or that you were lacking. I think that's the way most of us use the term, 'she's a very authentic person.' But as I started immersing myself in the research and doing my own research, I realized, like many desirable ways of being, authenticity is not something we have or don't have. It's a practice, a conscious choice of how we want to live. Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choice to show up and to be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. There are people who consciously practice being authentic. There are some that don't, and then there's the rest of us who are authentic on some days and not so authentic on other days. Trust me, even though I know plenty about authenticity and it's something I work toward, if I am full of self-doubt and shame, I can sell myself out and be anybody you need me to be." The idea that we can choose authenticity makes most of us feel both hopeful and exhausted. We feel hopeful because being real is something we value. Most of us are drawn to warm, down-to-earth, honest people, and we aspire to be like that in our own daily lives. We feel exhausted because without even giving it too much thought, most of us know that choosing authenticity in a culture that dictates everything from how much we're supposed to weigh to what our houses are supposed to look like is a huge undertaking. Given the magnitude of the task at hand, being authentic in a culture that wants you to fit in and people please, I decided to use my research to develop a definition of authenticity that I could use as a touchstone. What is the anatomy of authenticity? What are the points that come together to create an authentic self? Here's what I've developed. Authenticity is a daily practice of letting go of who you think you're supposed to be and embracing who you are. Choosing authenticity means cultivating the courage to be imperfect, to set boundaries and allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Exercising the compassion that comes from knowing that we are all made of strength and struggle. And nurturing the connection and the sense of belonging that that can only happen when we believe that we are enough. Authenticity demands wholehearted living and loving, even when it's hard, even when we're wrestling with the shame and fear of not being good enough, and especially when the joy is so intense that we're afraid to let ourselves feel it. Mindfully practicing authenticity during our most soul-searching struggles is how we invite grace, joy, and gratitude into our lives. And for me, I am a recovering people pleaser. So reading anything like these really helped me to stay focused and to stay on point to make sure that I am making the conscious decision to live wholeheartedly and live my authentic self and my truth every day. So I just wanted to share you that. It also breaks down a bit about how that's not an easy choice and how that takes work to consciously stay in that space. The Gifts of Imperfections, you should probably pick it up and read the rest of it because it's pretty amazing. Y'all have a good day.
Ah, Charlotte. I do love this city. And you know, this city was home for many years to a woman named Hester Ford. She actually passed away on April 17th as America's oldest person. She was 115, some people say maybe even 116 years old. Hester Ford Just wow. Lived through sharecropping, the 1918 flu pandemic, the Great Depression, World War I, World War II, Jim Crow laws, civil rights movement, and coronavirus pandemic. This woman, wow, the life that she saw. And had 12 children, 68 grandchildren, 125 great-grandchildren, and 120 great-great-grandchildren. Talk about a life. They said she was the matriarch of the family. I guess so. And so Hester Ford, when asked about her secret to longevity, well, some of her relatives said that, a big part of it was her faith, and that she prayed multiple times a day. But she herself also said that she thought it was because she woke up every morning singing. She woke up singing before she even got out of bed. She woke up singing. You've heard me say before that I wake up praying, and before I get out of bed and before I even open my eyes, I didn't really train myself to do that. I just set the intention, and it started to happen. It was wonderful. And but singing before I get out of bed, that's even taking it up a notch, I think. Singing before she even got out of bed, her secrets to longevity. But let's look at those for a second. Let's start with faith. And let's look at what Dr. Ernest Holmes called faith. A mental attitude that is so convinced of its own idea, which is so completely accepts it, that any contradiction is unthinkable and impossible. That's a direct quote from Science Mind textbook, Dr. Ernest Holmes. Let me say that again. Faith is a mental attitude that is so convinced of its own idea, which so completely accepts it, that any contradiction is unthinkable and impossible. Last week I was talking about being at choice point, having a choice in every moment, which way, right or left, which way are we going at this fork in the road? We're having fork in the road moments all the time, aren't we? With our opportunities to have the attitude of faith, the mental attitude of faith. It is choosing it, practicing it, expecting it, believing it. That's what trust is all about. That's what faith is all about. Choosing it, practicing it, expecting it, believing it. Faith. We're having faith in something all the time. Is it faith in fear, or is it faith in possibility, faith in the infinite moving through us and for us? That's the question. So cultivating that faith that we want to guide us. And praying, again, last week I talked about treat and retreat, mentioning the Anton retreat and how I thought that was cool, that it was, since our word for affirmative prayer is treatment, and the re-treat reminded me that we have an opportunity to pray and re-pray, right? Continually pray without ceasing. And so thinking about Hester Ford praying multiple times a day, it just reminds me of those course correct moments. We have them all day long, every day. Most of them go unchecked, unfortunately. But once we become aware of a thing, we can change, and we can decide to commit to that awareness and be vigilant about praying without ceasing. And what I mean by that is, as most of you know, not a beseeching, please God, I promise I'll be good this time, do this for me. I'm going to do this, you do that for me, thank you. No, it's not that kind of prayer that I'm talking about. I'm talking about a prayer that is reminding ourselves of the truth that there's one power and presence, and it's moving through us, and it's moving through us for us. Through us for us. That life is a movement, as the Tao Te Ching says, life is a movement toward our wholeness, which really means a movement toward our awareness of the wholeness that is innate within us, that's always there, that life is always for us. It is always, this too is good, this too is God. It's always carrying us onward and upward in our spiral evolution of life. And so praying without ceasing is continually bringing our minds and our awareness back to that truth, choosing it over and over. Choosing it over and over. And even when things, especially when things are tight or tough or hard, that's what grows us. That's what grows us, not when it's easy. It's when, not that we want to bring on the hard. I'm not saying that. And I think that we can actually grow even when it's not hard. But the hard stuff, the pressure makes the diamond, right? I remember playing basketball growing up. My brothers would always invite their friends over, their guy friends over to play with me. They were older and they were bigger and they were stronger and they were guys. And my brother Joe would say, that's how you get better, right? But hear me, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole, because we could talk a whole class about the fact that you don't have to grunt to grow. But if you're grunting anyway, make sure it's growing you. Make sure it's growing you and not taking you in the other direction. So as you're going through life, think about how many times we get the opportunity to reinforce what we don't want, or reinforce what we do want, and be in alignment and an open receptive channel for that. I was speaking with someone recently who had this this big business deal that was going on. And he really, really wanted it to go through, right? He really wanted it to go through. And yet, in a course of a 30-minute conversation with me, he must have said, I don't know, 24 things that could go wrong and blow the deal all to pieces. And finally, I listened, and finally I said, you realize that you've just affirmed all the things that could go wrong, but you haven't really told me anything about what could go right. We have to be as vigilant and as excited about our possibility as we are our pain. But unfortunately, sometimes we get wrapped up in all the things that could go wrong because of things that might have gone wrong before. And usually it's just stuff that never happened. I think it was Mark Twain that said, I've lived a long life and had a lot of problems, most of which never happened. So as you're going through your day and you're having that choice point moment all the time, instead of saying, well, that guy could back out, and if he backs out, then that could cause that deal to go through over there. And if that deal doesn't go, then the whole deal won't go. Or you can say, you know what? Everything is a movement toward my wholeness. Life is working for me. It's moving through me, and it's always showing up in divine and perfect ways. Life is moving through me. It's always for me. Another conversation I had recently, a person had to go into a meeting, and she was scared. She was worried about herself. She was worried about someone she loved. And I said, well, what do you really believe about the universe? What do you believe about God? And she said that things always work out. I was like, yes, this is a great time to anchor that. This is a great time to anchor that. Anchor that right now. Everything always works out for me. Everything always works out for me. Watch how your life shows up differently when you start waking up in the morning singing joy, singing peace, singing harmony. And I mean literally singing or figuratively singing, by aligning with everything works out for me. I'm excited to see the good that comes to me today. Everything works out to me, and I'm excited to see the good that comes to me today. You see, we have an opportunity to see it right before we see it in the material plane. We see it right here. Everything exists twice in our imagination and then in form. So see it right and watch it show up. Sing the song of God, as Ned said. I loved Ned's little teaching moment this morning. Thank you, Reverend Ned. Sing the song of God. Well, what is that? It's the vibration of love, of joy, of peace, of harmony, happiness, all of those beautiful qualities of God. Singing that song before we even get out of bed. Choosing that's the way I'm going today. And I'm expecting life to rush to meet me in that same vibration. Knowing that's how the law of attraction works, that what we put out, we get back. That we can let our life be a song of happiness or melancholy. We can let our life be a song of happiness. Hester was singing before she even got out of bed. She didn't sing because her days were going good, you see, because she wasn't even out of bed yet. She didn't know how her day was going to go, or did she? She didn't sing because her days were going good. Her days were going good and long in this life because she was singing the song of God in alignment with her faith, reminding herself of her connection to the divine. I just wish I could have met this woman. Love the story. That's living from the inside out, as we talk about in Science of Mind. Speaking or seeing our life into being. Speaking, seeing, singing our life into being. Don't let life train your voice, but train life to match your voice. You know what I'm speaking of, I assume. Like when you're in a chorus, if you have a person that's a little bit off, then everyone can train to that person, or they can stay in their lane, and the person that's a little bit off can train to them, right? So we don't want to let life train our voice. We want to let our voice train our life. Speak, and then watch it match. Speak what we want and watch it match. Invest time, love, and energy into ourselves. Wonderful song by Harold Payne I'm going to share with you shortly. Whose life is it anyway? And he says we have to invest some time, love, and energy into ourselves. Otherwise, we'll give our lives away. It's a gift. And a lot of people re-gift it and give your own life to someone else. Whose life is it anyway? It's the most important thing that we feel good in this life, that we feel good. People ask me, well, how do you sing this song you're talking about? How do you sing this song of love, joy, peace, happiness, harmony? How do you sing the song of God, the song of happiness? How do you let your life be a song of happiness? You set out to feel good every single day. You set out to feel good every single day. Abraham Hicks is always they're always saying that nothing's more important than that you feel good. And that's the truth. Because when you are loving and accepting and approving of yourself, which is what we're learning right now is so important in the Louise Hay material we're doing with the Heal Your Life book and the Healing Consciousness class. When you're loving, accepting, and approving of yourself, you feel good. When you feel good, you attract good. When you attract good, you spread good. It's all good. It just continues to amplify. And speaking of that, think about what it feels like to say, I love and accept myself. If you haven't done that, start today. But then if you have done that, notice how it feels different to add on then, and I approve of myself. I love, accept, and approve of myself. There was that Heath Ledger movie years ago, something about knights. It was a knight movie. Anyway, he was jousting with somebody, and there was a quote in there that says, "You've been weighed and measured and found wanting, sir." So often we weigh, measure, and find wanting ourselves. We have to let go of the critical. If we're going to sing the song of happiness, let our life be a song of happiness, sing the song of God, which is love, peace, joy, harmony, freedom, then we have to be good to ourselves. We have to invest some time, love, and energy into ourselves and to stop being so critical. Stop being so critical. Be gentle and kind. And like Angie was sharing about in the reading, just being authentic and embracing who we really are. Embrace being you. Embrace being you and know that it's a gift. This life is a gift. We don't want to just give it away and re-gift it to someone else. This life is a gift. Whose life is it anyway, the one that you're living? And that's the question. It's impossible to feel good if we are weighing ourselves down with self-doubt, criticism, and all the like, right? And if we're doing that and we're not feeling good, then we're not in alignment with the divine. That's the thing. You're not just being mean to yourself. You're denying the divine when you are not fully aligning with that highest truth for yourself. When you are being critical of yourself and not investing time in your own life. What brings me joy? And then set out to do that. And not just the things that are goal-oriented. I'm always reminding people, when I tell you to go out, and I tell this to couples or individuals when I coach them, and I'll say, find something to do that brings you joy every single day. And they're like, I don't know, painting the house. I'm like, well, perhaps, but usually that brings you a sense of satisfaction. You maybe, a sense of satisfaction, but does it really bring you joy? Maybe for some people, I don't know. But check in, because a lot of times what you think brings you joy is, if you're out of practice of giving yourself joy moments, what brings you joy is really a checklist of to-dos. You just feel a sense of relief or a sense of satisfaction. I want you to up that game and go to a place of joy. Do something that brings you joy every single day. Every single day. And when you do that, then you're living your life. You're waking up singing. And as we do that, we don't just sing the song of God. I love that Reverend Ned wrapped up his talk by saying, then once we do this for ourselves, then we can sing the song of God as one. We can sing the song of God as one, and then we stop finding fault in the other. We stop finding ways to prove that we're right, that we're going to be let down, prove that we're right, that that person's going to hurt us, prove that we're right, that we're always going to be fill in the blank of the negatives, right? When we can sing the song of God as one, we come back to that truth of our wholeness. All of life is a movement toward our wholeness, a movement of our awareness of that wholeness. I accept it. Life is for me always and in all ways. Our lives are becoming what we think about all day long. What are you thinking about? As you begin to sing the song of God, then the world around you responds, and we sing the song of God as one. But it has to start with you. It has to start with how you're treating your own body temple, your own mind. Our first assignment in the class was cut the junk Cut the junk food, cut the junk thoughts, cut the junk relationships. If you have ones that are just not ever lifting you up, let them go. Let people go. Let people be on their own journey. And so this song that I want to share with you, it says, we have to put time, love, and energy into ourselves, or we'll end up leaving our decisions to somebody else. Life is a gift, so don't re-gift it. Well, I made that part up. He says, life is a gift, don't give it away. Just keep moving forward and learn from your mistakes. If it takes a while to find your way, then do it till you get it right, like Bill Murray on Groundhog Day. Whose life is it? Anyway, it's your life, and you deserve to have a life worth singing about, a life that makes you sing in your soul before your eyes even open. You can do this, but we have to continually make ourselves, our lives, and our connection with the divine a priority. Otherwise, we just are on repeat, and there's so much life to live anew. Do that with me, would you? Let's do that. If you found what you wanted, you wouldn't hesitate, whether choosing your job or choosing your mate. But if you don't put some time, love, and energy into yourself, you'll end up leaving your decisions to somebody else. Wanna know now, whose life do you think it is anyway? You know that life is a gift to you, why would you give it away? You can settle for a fast food restaurant or go to a sumptuous buffet. Whose life do you think it is anyway? You're the master of your future, it's not all left up to fate. We just keep moving forward and learn from our mistakes. And if it takes a little while to find your own way, well, you can do it till you get it right, like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day. I wanna know now, whose life do you think it is anyway? You know that life is a gift to you, why would you give it away? You could settle for a fast food restaurant or go to a sumptuous buffet. Whose life do you think it is anyway? Who are we not to be all that we could ever be? Every step that we take with intention and faith brings us closer to the real you and me. I wanna know now, whose life do you think it is anyway? You know that life is a gift to you, why would you give it away? You could settle for a fast food restaurant or go to a sumptuous buffet. Whose life do you think it is anyway? I wanna know now, whose life do you think it is anyway? Know that life is a gift to you, why would you give it away? You can settle for a fast food restaurant or go to a sumptuous buffet. Whose life do you think it is anyway? Whose life do you think it is anyway? Whose life do you think it is anyway? Kids, we see you, we hear you, we appreciate you, and we love you just the way that you are. divine love moving through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the good in my life. I just say thank you to each and every one of you for continuing to give your gifts of your time, your talent, and your treasure to Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening. For each and every person giving a financial gift this morning, I just know that it returns to you multiplied abundantly, that as you give, you receive. And so I know we are each blessed. So affirm that with me as we sing this beautiful chant. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Thank you, God. I am so blessed for all that I have. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Thank you. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Mother, Father, God, thank you for all of the gifts. The gifts of friends and family, the gifts of spiritual community, the gifts of health, harmony, joy, and peace. Thank you, God, for all of the many fortunes that we have. So grateful for each and every member and friend of this community. And I just say thank you for continuing to bless us. We just open and allow ourselves to receive and to give. And allow this dance of reciprocity with the universe to just continue. I just say thank you. Thank you. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. So grateful and so blessed. So grateful and so blessed. Please join us again next week right here online. And then the following week, we're going to have another online service coming. Another in-person service. We'll always have the online service, but we're also going to be adding in one service at least a month where we get together in person. So check out our website, awakeningcarolina.org, and or our Facebook page or group to stay informed on classes, gatherings, and in-person services. So that will be May 16th at Canvas Tattoo. There's a wonderful event space behind the tattoo shop and art gallery. It's an outdoor space with trees and stage and chairs, and it's right in the heart of Noda, and it actually has parking. So it's like a baby unicorn finding parking in Noda. But they have two locations, and in between the two, there's 33rd Street. So they're parking at both locations as well as the business next door. And there's paid parking down the street, but there's free parking there. So that's exciting. Anyway, join us for our closing song, if you would, please. We let the love wash over joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We love you, we bless you, and we thank you. Have a fantastic week.